This meeting is being recorded.
I gotta cut that out every time. The YouTube.
I tried to stop it, but I was hitting spacebar and it wouldn't let me.
It's okay. The YouTube crowd is getting a little extra. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 110, I think, of the Always Race Day podcast. We've done so many of these that I just forget every time at the start of them. It's bad. Bad deal. The early one's probably worse than the others, but hope you guys are enjoying it. Episode 110, presented by the Karl Auto Group. As always, I'm here with Josh Olmstead and Caleb Sluha. Really packed episode today. We got Mason Mitchell and Lou Seipel on from the Karl Chevrolet Dirt Truck Racing Association. So kind of Iowa-based dirt truck series that you've probably seen them at Knoxville if you've been down there during their July weekend. But pretty cool little stuff that they do, and obviously supported by our guys at Karl Chevrolet and the Karl Auto Group. So we really appreciate them being the presenting sponsors and everything like that. Caleb, what do you say we get in the show? Josh?
Yeah, let's do it. We got a lot to talk about.
I'm excited. It's the best time of year. Big Dallas Stars game tonight. I can't watch it on my phone because it's on regular TV, so I can't watch it on the ESPN Plus.
I'm pretty sure they're up 1-0 last I saw.
It is 2-2 at the end of the first.
Yikes. I literally turned it on to turn the Bulls game on,
The
and
Blues are playing like they don't want Connor Bedard whatsoever. They have no reason to win this game. They need to just they should put their emergency goalie in and create a feel-good story. But
maybe Dallas just sucks.
okay, well, very good chance we get the first seed in the Central Division, maybe the second.
No one's beating the Bruins or the Canes. That's just facts.
Or the Canes.
Yeah.
How about let them win a championship and then we'll see.
They'll get close and then get walloped by the Bruins.
It's the hockey playoffs. The thing about there's no telling what happens in the NHL playoffs. It's less predictable than March Madness. I promise you. Promise everybody. It's the best time of year though. We got hockey playoffs coming up. All the racing season. I cannot talk today. Sheesh. All the racing series are starting to race every weekend. The weekend schedules are packed. The midday schedules are packed thanks to the High Limit Series, thanks to Castrol Flow Racing Night in America and all the other series that run weekday races. And we'll have it all covered for you right here at Always Race Day. That said, Caleb, we're starting things off with NASCAR tonight.
Yes, that's the pretty typical. Where'd you want to start tonight?
I'm leaving it up to you.
Oh, boy. Well,
we should start with the news from today that Chase Elliott is back.
Yeah, Chase Elliott is back. I'm surprised. It seems pretty rushed. And we kind of talked about, but there's no Josh Berry is on standby or blah blah blah. It sounds like it's his intent to go racing, and it's been a month and a half, so it's pretty quick.
Yeah, he's missed 5 races. He injured it that Friday. Is it necessarily a broken tibia? Is it because it says fractured, right? So how bad is the break? Definitely plays into that. I know a lot of people were like, it's supposed to be this amount of time, but it could be this. And that's the range comes from how bad is the break? Did it snap in half? Is it still attached? So I don't know. He has no reason to come back early. They're not going to deny his waiver. They were not going to shame him for coming back later. The points penalty, the threshold of being in the top 30 was completely removed this year. He'll be fine. He's going to make the playoffs. He's going to win a race, and
Yeah, just my on the severity of it. I mean, he did have to have surgery, so stop it. Stop.
Caleb's dog does not like his takes on Chase Elliott.
Caleb's dog is not a Chase Elliott fan.
We're being super sensitive tonight. on everything. But anywho, he did have to have the surgery, so you would have thought that it would have been a little bit more extensive. But yeah, we're gonna see how he does this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't know about what injury, how long it's supposed to take. Good to see him back. Josh Berry got a second in the Cup car. He wasn't the flash in the pan that I thought he was going to be. He wasn't. I guess he wasn't not outstanding. Like, he didn't suck for sure, but he didn't raise my eyebrows a ton. I'm not sure if that is going to be a factor in him ever getting a Cup ride, because I think whether he does or not kind of hinges on Dale Jr. starting a team. But yeah, Chase Elliott back into the number 9 on Sunday at Martinsville, so that should be a fun race. You sent a stat in our group chat about Todd Gilliland and what he's done the last 4 races.
Yeah, and now you're gonna say that, and I don't remember.
4 top 15s and 2 top 10s.
I think so.
And
That is correct. Yes.
He's the Knoxville Raceway Truck Series winner from last year.
Yeah, and they did throw a little homage to that when they were running the other night.
I'm
Because
glad
I
people
think
still remember it happens, because NASCAR won't freaking race here.
for real. But
I'm
I
more
think
pissed that Dallas is tied 2-2 with a trash organization like St. Louis. But
Good God.
I didn't mean to say organization. I meant to say city. My bad. Well, I can't do that because we got Gateway and the Gundakers place. Never mind. I just mean the Blues. I hate the Blues. You got me into that, Caleb? Really? You didn't have to do that.
yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah, but it's 4 top 15s in a row, right? And 2 top 10s. Do I got that right?
Yes. But you got me all excited now because like everything about that Knoxville races, I have Todd Gilliland's signature on my ticket from that race.
Yeah, dude, he was great. He's the second best car on track besides the number 22, black and yellow and red paint scheme. Won't say what penalty caused that race results to be. It was detrimental to the race results. They manipulated the race. NASCAR did themselves.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to call a restart zone on a damn dirt track. But okay. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about on this episode. Damon, the Todd Gilliland deal, it fascinates me because I don't know why any team in this sport would put a driver in a car for 30 races and put another in the same full-time car that has a charter for 6 when the 6 races are not just flat out the road courses. That's the only reason I can see anyone putting a ringer in the car.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I have no clue what Front Row Motorsports is doing. Because we didn't talk about this a lot when it came out, but he got way screwed over. It's stupid.
I don't understand it at all.
Front Row Motorsports went away from Landon Castle to go to Michael McDowell years ago, what a weird ass freaking move was that? And they won up their weirdness this year with this move. So Zane Smith, really good racer. I'm nothing against Zane Smith. I don't know how you hire a guy for 30 races and say, yeah, these 6 random ones that we couldn't find funding for you. Just out the door. And now he's running really well with a very big glaring reason to leave as soon as possible. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just kind of surprised they put Zane in that ride for the fact that he hasn't really proven himself even in Xfinity.
He's a Truck Series champion.
Okay, but I'm still like
Truck Series with cleaner drivers and 3 more.
I'm still on that whole thought process of I feel it should be Trucks Xfinity Cup, how it's always been in the past, and nowadays you don't really have that. But I still feel like it should be like that.
I think you still have it. William Byron did it.
That was how long ago?
Like 4 years?
Yeah, and he was probably the last one.
You could be like John Hunter Nemechek, where he goes Truck, Cup, Xfinity.
Yeah,
back to Truck, then Xfinity.
Cole Custer wasn't a truck guy, was he?
No.
And Sammy Smith didn't race trucks.
Ty Gibbs
No.
skipped trucks.
Here's the real
Well,
reason
Ty
at this
Gibbs
point.
and trucks could have been really bad.
The real thing is you don't have time to do both anymore. Like it's to the point now where like you get in there at 17, 18, you have a couple years in one of those series, and then you better be ready for Cup or you're not going to Cup. That's pretty much how it is anymore.
Well, especially if you don't have funding with you, and it's a balance. Everything in that is a balance, but the biggest thing is when you have that opportunity, you have to raise eyebrows in one way or another, whether it's lucking into wins or whether it's driving from 39th out of the last range of pit stops to finish second. At least you had that cool drive to the front. And a lot of stuff is kind of just determined off little results from races. What, like this Todd Gilliland thing, you texted that in the group chat. I had no idea. I had no clue he's had 4 straight top 15s. But if you get to the season and there's like 7 or 8 stretches like that, it's like, oh, his average finish was 10th. He's really good. But there's so many things that go on in these races that you can get lucky and whatever.
Well, I feel like we've got that too. So you've got Ty Gibbs.
It's in every like form of racing. Like you could
like Ty Gibbs right now, he's on his 4th straight top 10, and I feel like that hasn't been really talked about at all either.
They talked about it a lot last race.
Did they? I must have just not like been paying attention.
Well, so it wasn't his. It was like 11th, 9th, 9th, and 11th or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah,
so they're not top 10s.
Yeah, but so then he's right up in there.
That's 4 straight, basically top 10s. That's what we call
basically.
And yeah, so then that last race he did get another, because I think he got 9th. So
there's top 10.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to put it.
I don't like these. All right. I was trying to get someone mad. Unfortunately, Noah and Damon can't join us today because I don't know what Damon's thing on this is. I'll let you take the floor with the NASCAR 75 thing, and I have a very big rant, not just about the NASCAR 75 list.
Well, so I think it's a very interesting thing. Like I like what they're doing, but then of course, we're gonna speculate and disagree and stuff like that. So, I've kind of just been watching as they've like announced this deal, and they've been adding in a couple drivers, like Randy LaJoy, Tony Stewart, and then they added Casey Kane to the list, and that one kind of befuddles me a little bit.
The only one you didn't name was Mike Stefanik. I think he's
Mike Stefanik.
Yes. So they've named 4. They're naming 25 total to add to the first 50. Tony Stewart was the one they announced on the broadcast. These past 3 have been announced via press releases, or I suppose just tweets, because I was looking for the press releases. They might be in my email box, honestly. I was on the website looking at them. So, but so these 3, the Casey Kane one came out. He was the second one. People are like, I'm sure you're going to talk about why was Casey Kane announced second. All 3 of those guys are like far less decorated than Tony Stewart and far less known than Tony Stewart. I would say there's a reason those are the ones being announced this week. And Casey Kane's was announced on his birthday. So that kind of, I think all that played into a lot of this and why those were the first 4 guys. That's not my rant, but don't play into the order they were announced in. You go now, Caleb.
I think Stefanik, I like the Stefanik deal because I feel like you're acknowledging somebody who truly was like in the overall NASCAR umbrella, like he was an absolute great. And so I'm fine with that one. I think that one's justified. Like I don't want to like say that Casey Kane's not good, but I guess I don't know. He
has a freaking day named after him.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Casey Kane Friday. Look it up.
That's fantastic. I could probably go buy my way into having my own day somehow. So
Casey Kane is tied for 50th on the all-time NASCAR wins list. He has 176 top tens in his career. That is not me looking that up. That's off the top of my head. I think he's proven himself enough to be on that list. Now, the guys that get left off, we will see.
yeah, I mean that's a good point, and it's hard because it's like
Right now,
maybe-
right. All I'm saying is right now, without the big the big name missing. Right now, without the big name missing, 4 guys out of 25 into this, I have no problem with it.
I can float with that.
I should lead that into my rant though, because I do a lot of these press releases when football season rolls around. Caleb, every position in college football has like 1 to 3 awards named after it. And you know what those awards companies do? I don't even know who's putting them together. They come out of the woodwork. You know the people that, like, they talk about those children in sweatshops making clothes overseas?
Yes.
You know those people? They got to be sitting there like coming up with new ideas for awards by position that we could create watch lists for going into college football season. If you're a D1 offensive lineman, you're on an award watch list. Boom, there you go. Press release, good pub for your school. No negative about it, except I have to type out 37 of those per day for like 3 weeks in the midst of Knoxville National season. It is the most annoying thing that I do in my entire job. And here's where this is going, my opinion on lists. Lists and listicles and awards lists and nomination lists and everything about them. The only reason awards were created and lists were created was to get people mad about the list itself. Every single list has been created with the sole purpose of let's get people arguing about something today that isn't politics. And that sounds good on the surface, but let me tell you about how gigantic of a waste of time it is, because nothing formidably changes as to who's on this list or not. Monte Morris not being on the awards list in college going into whatever season that was where he was snubbed for all of them, the whole offseason was just complaining that Monte Morris wasn't on these awards. He's going to try his best when he gets to the court, and he did really well, and he was the best damn point guard in the fucking Big 12. Guess what didn't change that? Leaving him off those fucking lists. It means nothing.
I mean, that's a good point.
That's the end of it. Like, I'll leave it at that. Everyone's going to get so worked up over this, and it doesn't. It could not matter less.
I agree. Yeah, and that's
I will say this one's bigger, and I don't care if you care about who's on it, but if you're screaming into a 56 tweet Twitter thread, then I might be pretty annoyed.
Yeah, it's nothing to get like that pressed over. I mean, it's just like it makes for good discussion, and it's relevant. I mean, it gets a lot of talk and shares, and yeah, the conversation definitely is picked up by it. So it kind of generates its point. So
I did not think you could come up with a response to that made me feel like more like of a dick talking to you about it.
I'm not offended, because it's not like I'm like coming into it so pressed that Casey Kane should, is a crap driver, and
Right. You are right. It does generate discussion, but like often not. You just see like stuff like this, and it's like, I look at the Caitlin Clark and Elia Boston. They were arguing about the Player of the Year award for like a month, 2 months. It was the damn better half of the season. And you're like, doesn't matter if Caitlin Clark won Player of the Year and Elia Boston won and South Carolina won the championship. Would you take that? You still got one, but like you ultimately want the championship.
right.
And you'll still take the Player of the Year. That's not, that's big for your program. That's great. But
the only place it could really come down to is like, okay, so does a professional team look at it then and say like, oh, well, we want the person that's got that award under their belt, and so then
They never do that anyways, because in the NBA, like I don't know if Buddy Hield won the Wooden Award or what, but he was bona fide the best player in college basketball the year he went to the draft, and he got picked 7th.
that makes sense. And you
What
would think
draft class was that?
What's that?
What draft class was that? Was it 15?
Ooh. Yeah, 15, 16. One of those two.
Anywho,
Did you have anything else on Kane not being in that?
no, it's.
Alright,
I mean, like I said, I wasn't like super passionate about it. It was one of those that I was kind of like, huh, all right, well.
It makes me
Like-
feel bad because I was very passionate about it. You kind of mellowed out you brought us to average, I suppose.
It was just like one of those deals where I was like, huh, I probably wouldn't have picked him, but he might have been one of those like with Joey Logano that like you know, are asked your top 5, you know,
Logano's definitely going to be in it.
but you wouldn't like think that like you right
He's a
off the top of your
two-time
head.
champion.
Oh my God, we had this whole conversation. I'm not going to go back to it, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying like just off the cuff, you wouldn't, if you were like, is Joey Logano in your top 5? You would be like, no. But then if you were like, list the top 5, then you'd be like, well, shit, Joey Logano is probably in there. Like, oh my
Are you telling list my top 5 from now?
God, no,
I want to get some people in. I want to get some podcast fans pissed off at my list.
We've already given the list. We've already done this whole talk.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I've
That's-
made an amendment to my list. I'm putting Steve Kinzer on there because he's been in a NASCAR, as has Jonathan Davenport.
Okay.
Shane Golobich's there too. Those 3, Chase Elliott and Michael Annett, are my 5 I would put on the list.
I'm sorry, did you say Michael Annett?
Yeah,
He absolutely.
the NASCAR 75 greatest drivers. It's not like it's
You're putting Michael Annett on that list?
yeah.
Are you gonna be disappointed when he's not?
It's my list. We'll throw Mason Mitchell in there as long as ARCA counts, as it should. If the Whelen Modified Tour counts, ARCA sure as hell should.
I'm putting Joey Coulter on that list.
I'm not falling for that one. All right. So we do have to. So Cody Ware from Rick Ware Racing was arrested on allegations of strangling a female. Cody did not race this weekend. It was said that his absence was on personal reasons, and they had Matt Crafton fill in. They changed the nameplate to Crafton's name, which is big because teams don't usually do that. Also kind of weird to me. They, hit every nook and cranny of every car. I'm not sure why more teams don't do that for the substitute drivers, or if it has to. It could be an unwritten rules thing. Anyway, definitely not great allegations. Obviously innocent until proven guilty. So we will wait and see what happens with all of that. And that's all the information we have so far.
Yeah, I mean, you never like to see stuff like that. It doesn't look good for our sport, and definitely not good for that family. Because that's 2 of their kids now that have been accused of such. So it just.
I don't think it looks bad on racing. I don't think. If someone out there thinks like, oh yeah, there's racers causing trouble again, I'd love to talk to that person because they have to have a fantastically dumb mind.
Well,
In my honest opinion, I just some of the stuff like that. That's like, oh, one of your players did that. One of your guys did this. It's like, yeah, like when he wasn't playing NASCAR for us,
I mean, it definitely is not a good PR thing, but
I'm not saying.
unfortunately,
not whatsoever.
NASCAR is not near as bad as almost every other professional sport. So
And
at least we got that.
We've been on this train before.
At least we got that going for us. So who's going to replace him in the
So
future?
I actually just saw that they said Zane Smith is racing at Martinsville. I just found that out like 5 minutes ago while I was on Twitter.
It will be Zane Smith in the car. He might as well run a full Cup Series schedule at this point.
It'll
He's
be
made 2 races, hasn't he?
No, it's just a flashback to the time.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I would assume. I think there's one race though coming up in the next couple that Zane's already committed to being in the front row car. So maybe Todd
That'll
gets
be
it.
Todd. It'll be
Like-
Todd and then
So
probably like
Todd's gonna
JJ.
Todd's gonna hop in the other team's car, while the guy that's been driving that car is gonna hop in his team's car, which
Precisely.
awesome move, front row, because I used to love cheering for him, and this has just proven to me that they're too weird for me.
They've always been. I mean, like when they put Alfredo like in the car, like
Next Todd Gilliland top 10, I'm going to do the TV tweet in at Front Row Motorsports. There's no chance they understand it. I'm going to reference this episode.
Oh boy. Speaking of TV, have you seen the numbers from the most recent NASCAR Cup race?
Yeah, 3.5 million.
How much down?
13.9%, I believe.
There's a lot of people reporting different numbers, but 3.5 of 4 flat is 12%, 12.5, right?
It's the same. I mean,
Like that's math. I have no clue.
what 3.5, 4% is all the same at that point.
Now hold on, because I'm looking up one stat. And I want to make sure I don't get it right. Don't get it wrong. But so 3.5. What am I looking at? Yeah, $3.5 million or mil. I'm gonna have to cut some of this. Jeez, dude, like the Twitter search function is so bad right now.
Yeah, probably broke just like the rest of Twitter.
3.5 million viewers for Sunday's dirt race at Bristol. The Masters got 12 million, biggest golf tournament of the year, obviously. NASCAR was the number 1 or number 2 sport of the weekend in 7 of the first 8 points races. I would assume that one of those was the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. Now ratings are down all season, but I do think the drop off from Daytona to what are we in 7th or 8th race of the season? I think the drop off is less. Is how it was phrased.
I don't. All I know is
I think 3.5 is a good enough number. I think being on Easter Sunday is good as long as you have the national broadcast. The more races you can get on the national broadcast, the better. I don't think it's a necessarily bad number. I think it's on pace with what they've been all season. So I don't know if it justifies bringing it back or bringing it back on Easter, but we'll certainly see.
Yeah, definitely would be interesting to see. It's hard to tell. I mean, maybe they're happy with 3.5 million, and like then that's justification for them to keep doing it. But maybe they are not happy with 3.5 million. So it's not just like it's hard to tell what's going on from their point. But I guess if they're making enough money doing it, then go for it.
So in the Nielsen rating, that had a 1.88 with 3.45 million viewers. Last year was a 2.19 with 4,007 million viewers. I said that really weirdly, but like
Yeah, the
4,007,000.
7 what?
So about 500,000 down.
Yeah, and I mean, like the TV ratings have been kind of in that range, down all year. I'm not exactly sure on the reasoning. So last year, like NASCAR was the only sport going up in ratings. They were up from year on year or whatever you call it from the last year. The first 8 races for sure. I think the first 6 weekends they were the most watched sporting event of the weekend. So it is weird that they're going down. There's some negatives. I don't know if all of that contributes to TV ratings. You're probably sitting at home going like, yeah, like if the races suck, it's obviously going to go down. But they haven't sucked on a average basis or even consistent basis. So it's puzzling. It's a little weird, and we'll see where they go the rest of the year. But
And it could have just been like last year. Everybody, tuned in to see this new car, and now that's kind of worn off. So
we're forgetting that Chase Elliott hasn't been in the car, and that's going to bump the ratings up. Have you seen that take?
I mean,
there's people that respond to like Jeff Gluck's poll and says Chase Elliott hasn't been in the car, so I haven't watched, and it's got to be someone's burner. It's the dumbest damn thing.
I'd believe it. I would believe it that there's, it's not going to be 500,000, but there would probably be several thousand people out there that have not been watching because Chase Elliott has not been in the race.
That's not like several thousand. What's that, like 4,000?
I mean, you're
I just don't think the ratings are going to come back up because Chase Elliott's in the race. If he is, if that's what happens, then put Haley Deegan in a cup car. Whatever. Can't believe you got me to say that.
There we go.
And then all the comments are going down like, oh, NASCAR went woke, and now the ratings are down, and then it's like you waited 2 years of constantly up ratings to go, oh, they went woke, and that mattered.
Yeah, people are stupid, man.
Just watch the sport. Just watch the sports. Just watch it. That's all you got to do. I think we're good. Oh, that's what I was going into. I think next week's ratings are going to suck too.
Probably.
Because for some reason, we have to do this whole song and dance because Fox has the NASCAR broadcast on Fox Sports 1, and IndyCar has the IndyCar broadcast. Or NBC has the IndyCar broadcast. And they're on big NBC. And, I assume NASCAR is still going to beat IndyCar. Why the hell do we have to go head-to-head? Why? No, anyone come explain to me why IndyCar can go at 2 and NASCAR at 4:30.
Yeah, I wish they would
switch it the other way. I don't care. Why?
I feel like they should have Martinsville as a night race and have it Saturday night.
Saturday night ratings have sucked forever.
Okay, why go to head with another series though?
I'm just saying, like, that's why they don't have more of them.
I can guarantee you on this one too, like in order for IndyCar to be on NBC, NBC probably said we have to have the race at such and such time. So of course that's good for IndyCar, but in a perfect world, then you would have NASCAR go, hey, we'll work with you guys, we'll move our time, blah 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 blah.
Move it to
But
Sunday evening.
You know damn well NASCAR said, fuck them.
That's stupid.
I would guarantee that's how that went, where NASCAR just
one of NASCAR's best drivers is going to race in the biggest IndyCar event in the next 2 years. Maybe invest in it, because if he wins, then you get the ultimate bragging right. You could be the World of Outlaws series saying that, oh, hey, one of our guys won the High Limit Series opener. Look at that, man. Look at that. And I'm not saying those tours are doing that. They're not.
Here's my issue.
You get to do. I don't understand why you want to invest in that and invest in your drivers racing elsewhere, so you can say, we have the best drivers. Look, they're kicking ass here, and over there.
Well, here's the thing with IndyCar though, is since they're going to be on the West Coast, they're going to start at their normal time for them technically, because they always start at 11 or 12. So, like, for them, they're not doing anything different than what they would do in the past. So it'd be 12 o'clock start time for them. So, which is usually right up their alley. They usually start at 11 or 12.
Yeah, I mean,
hockey players played hockey without helmets for 40 years. It was still stupid.
What kind of comparison is that?
It's just what we normally do, man. Like, doing something because you normally do it is not a reason to keep doing it, unless it rocks. But the reason is that it rocks.
It's convenient.
Not to me. I gotta watch 2 races at once now.
good thing I already
Two
got.
No one else has 2
TV
TVs
setup.
in the world.
Get that TV on your couch again.
You know, Chris took my backup computer because his wife's computer broke, and he gave me the backup computer. So now I'm down to 1 computer, and I don't know what to do. I might HDMI my phone to my TV.
There you go.
Then
How are you gonna do updates then?
Yeah, exactly. I have to go on my iPod. My iPod. Okay, we're good. The Stars are up 4-2. I saw 4 and I saw 2. I didn't know who was leading. Awesome. Good
Well, I need one more 3-pointer out of Zach LaVine.
probably
You
do
need to stop betting on every damn game that goes on.
Hey, how about the Lakers winning the season opener last night? No game matters in the NBA until the playoffs start. No player gives a shit.
Is that what you're calling it, the season opener?
Yeah, I called it the season opener last night. We beat the.
I saw that.
The what's Minnesota's franchise called?
The Timberwolves?
Yeah, those guys. Sorry.
Oh my god.
They've been so relevant for years. And, you know, I'm a Dallas Stars fan. We used to be in Minnesota, but I stopped really caring about their teams. Still like the Vikings, but they did their best Timberwolves impression in the playoffs, that's for sure.
I'd love to see it.
I'm glad we got like 1 T-Wolves fan who really pissed off.
I'm gonna get my boss listening to these because he's a T-Wolves fan. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
like, hey, by
send
the
him
way,
this
we
clip.
talked about the T-Wolves.
And tell him if he's a fan of the Wild trying to take the North Star jersey that he's an absolute bandwagon freak.
Oh god.
Don't see any T-Wolves fans wearing Lakers jerseys because they're smart. Can't say the same for Wild fans.
Lakers
but-
fans are something else though. Watching that game last night and the
Yeah,
energy that they have.
I have not cared about the team the entire season, and last night was the season opener. It's such a weird sport. They play 89 preseason games to gear up for the big tournament.
89.
Yeah, they have 7 at the start, then the 82, and now they start.
Oh my god.
All right, let's talk about a sport that kicks ass, though, because IndyCar's at Long Beach this weekend on Sunday. Obviously, head-to-head with NASCAR at 2 o'clock, whatever. Josh, who are your picks? I haven't been able to look statistically at who's been.
I still have my stats paper. Hold on.
Yeah, Josh is going to go get his dictionary. Encyclopedia.
Got them all.
Colton Hurd is good there.
Colton Herter, yes. Colton Herter's history. He currently holds the lap record from last year. He is the pole winner as well. He led 100. Oh my God. He led 28 laps in that race, and he won in 21. So I think he is the favorite in my opinion. I think followed up is going to be Rossi. Rossi won the pole in 18-19. He also won both of those races. And yeah, in my opinion, he is with a team that seems to be 10 times better than Andretti. So,
and the guy who won 10 times, that's a little much.
3 times.
All right, that's fair for now. The guy who won last week, Joseph Newgarden, won there last year. So something to look for. I think Joseph Newgarden is the best driver in the series right now. He's power ranked.
Right, he's the hottest right now. I will say that he did. I think that race kind of fell into his hands because Herter crashed out running P2 on lap 57 last year.
You're right.
So I think he obviously had to be there for it to work out for him. So props to him for that. Joseph was also the pole winner in 21 as well.
Something else to look for. Last year, Romain Grosjean was
P2.
P2. So Is this his best IndyCar track? It's certainly better than Texas.
My fun stat
Don't laugh
is
at that. It's just a statement, man.
I'm not
You
laughing.
don't have to laugh at Romain Grosjean. It's okay.
I'm not Mr. F1. I'm gonna refer to
what we
him as
call him.
Mr. F1.
That's what we call him.
I found something very interesting. Is there are only 3 multi-time winners at this track?
I literally had it pulled up and I didn't notice that. And now I'm sitting here like
I mean, unless you go back to the kart days, and it's different.
Rossi won back to back. Yeah, I guess Will Power winning in 2008 and 2012 technically counts.
Yes. And then Mike Conley.
Mike Conley. Yeah, so when I back in the day, I cared about lists for a bit. There was a season and a half where I was a fan of Kevin Conway. And he drove the Extends Boner Pills number 35 car in the NASCAR Cup Series. And I was like, oh, Rookie of the Year. He must be good because he won Rookie of the Year. It's a list, Caleb. It's a list, and it's an award. Kevin Conway was one of the worst NASCAR drivers of all time. At least the only debate he could win is Kevin Conway versus Quinn Hove.
He was scheme to run. He was my scheme to run an inside line, NASCAR inside line. So
yeah, I don't think Danica Patrick would lose in a debate to Kevin Conway. It would turn into a sponsored debate. Like, is Extends Boner Pills or GoDaddy.com cooler to say?
Extends Boner Pills. It's not even close.
That wasn't their branding. It was just Extends. But I didn't know that at the time. I was like 9 years old.
I listened to some radio show, and they were talking about what's the weirdest sponsor in NASCAR ever, and someone said it was Extends.
It had to have been when the Xfinity dude, ran the Rainbow Jeff Gordon scheme with Nut Up. It was Nut-Up.
Was that Ellis?
Was it? No, it wasn't Ryan Ellis.
I thought it was an Alpha Prime car.
Yeah, look.
I'm on it.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it again.
The F1 team?
Alfa Romeo, and there's AlphaTauri, and there's now Alpine, and all those words are close to Alpha Prime. It also just seems like something an F1 team would brand themselves as. Caleb, do you know who it was? If someone said his name, I'd know it.
Yeah, I don't, but we're not going to talk about like how Kim Kardashian sponsored a car the one time.
She what?
Yeah, Kim Kardashian sponsored a car a while ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, let me look and see who it was. I don't remember. It was like somebody stupid too. It was like Mike Wallace, or like it was somebody really weird. Let me look at it.
I'll let you 100 drivers, and you'll
Mike
never guess
Bliss.
who drove the Nut Up car.
No,
it was Mike Bliss.
Mike Bliss.
Oh my god. So the one that I was thinking of was not the car, the Alpha Prime car. The car that you were talking about, you're never.
Can you give me like a first? Give me the first letter of his first name and the last letter of his last name.
L is the first letter of the last name.
Oh shit.
Lupton.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You gave me you. Yeah, you. I don't know if I would have gotten it with T.
I thought that was who it was, but I didn't know for sure.
That's something else.
What did Kim Kardashian?
No.
What did she do?
What?
Her Sephora like store or whatever.
Oh, that.
But yeah, Mike Bliss drove an all pink car.
It sounded better than the money team racing. That's not just Kim Kardashian on a car, like in a bikini going, I'm Kim Kardashian, follow me.
I mean, her face was definitely on the car.
Was it? Okay. I didn't know this. I had no idea.
Yes. You have to look it up because it's kind of funny.
Look it up and send a picture in the group chat, and we'll tweet it.
Okay.
Caleb, you brought this up. I don't know if it even exists. You could be screwing with me right now.
Because we were talking about
Oh, we were talking about how
Weird
Connor's really
sponsorship.
stupid and can't recall common NASCAR history with
No, we were.
niche categories.
Where are you? Come back, old man, from your fucking rant. We were talking about weird NASCAR sponsorships.
No, that's completely fair.
Zach Levine hit his 3.
Oh, that's why Josh yelled.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, give me more IndyCar at Long Beach. Who's like poking their head in the door? You know, Pato Award got 5th there last year. When are we going to start talking about him as the favorite?
All right. he finished 5th last year, and in 21 he started 9th, was up to 6th, and then got rear-ended on lap 2 by Ed Jones, and it just knocked the gearbox out of the car. So I'm still mad about that. I will never forgive Ed Jones for that.
Oh, get over it.
It was for the championship. It was literally the championship race.
You'll be all right.
I remember this because it was like, I want to say Pato had a really good shot to win, and he got taken out pretty damn early.
Connor.
Lap 2. Did you?
Oh,
You were gone during that, weren't you?
No, I heard the whole thing.
I was gonna say my whole rant session of he was the only car to pass cars on the first lap at Long Beach in 21, and then got ass packed by Ed Jones.
I don't think I believe you that he was the only one to advance his position.
He was.
He absolutely. No, I'm going to go back.
No, they single filed it. They single filed started.
That's not IndyCar. What the? Who decided that?
I don't know, but I went back and watched the replay. That's how I got these notes.
We're rocket ships in a bull ring arena. We're not. What is this?
Rocket ships in a bull ring. My God.
You're right.
I definitely combined two different sayings there. Joseph Newgarden originated the rocket ship part of that, and I forget what he called it. But that's how
I kind of liked it though.
It's how he described Iowa Speedway. It was something along those lines. I probably have the quote written down somewhere. I'll let you know if I ever find it. I don't know. I might just pick Joseph Newgarden again.
It's hard not to, because even if he's not like the fastest guy, he's like the second or third fastest guy, and then you just have to have like one person have an issue and then he's there. Like he's either the guy or close to being the guy every race. Like you just can't go wrong picking him. It's stupid to bet against him.
Yeah, and he.
Oh, so funny story for you. So they did do double file start, but literally only the top 3 were double file.
That's always what happens here. Is it's such a bad like restarts and stuff that you just can't.
Because cars are wrapping around that slow turn while other cars are taking the green, so they just gap them.
Taking them to Applebee's.
It's one of the few spots on the IndyCar schedule.
Here, I'll just show you a picture of what the restart looked like. If you can even see it.
No, take that off. Take that off. I don't want to get taken off YouTube.
It's a screenshot.
Oh, you should have said that.
It's a screenshot.
It looked like
it's from YouTube. I screenshotted it from YouTube.
Drone that was miles away.
But no, it was literally 6 cars, and that was it. Everyone else was single file.
It's just weird to me. Move the restart zone, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what Nashville did it.
People
because
because they couldn't keep away from each other.
Yeah, because cars decided to ramp over the back of each other. Also, another note that I had was in 22, Ericsson was running 3rd while he crashed out, and Palou led 22 laps.
That wasn't pit strategy though, was it?
No.
Okay, Palou needs a win. His stock is falling. When when oh god, I made 17 memes of this dude in a week last year from Arrow McLaren, the team owner.
Zach Brown?
Yeah. Zach Brown band.
when
When you're not winning and Zach Brown isn't offering 17 seats to when Zach Brown isn't offering 5 seats to 35 drivers, then it kind of looks like Alex Palou's stock has fallen a little low. It's going to be fascinating what this season brings because they haven't agreed to anything. He's just here at Chip Ganassi.
Yeah, I mean he definitely needs to knock off a couple wins here soon.
For some reason, I brain farted there and was like, "He's not racing for McLaren, is he?" And I'm like, "No." But yeah, Zach Brown promised 17 freaking drivers like 6 seats last year. I'm shocked it didn't work out.
Especially on the F1 side of things.
I don't want to trash him too much because he's got Kyle Larson's Indy 500 entries.
True.
So I'll hand it to him. I mean, he's getting talented guys. And all the guys he offered, pretty much, for the most, 90% of the guys that he offered were very talented. And his cars are obviously fast. We'll just see if everything comes to fruition. I mean, the hit rate's like 33%. You're like a mediocre college basketball 3-point shooter with drivers that you announced as signed. But that's okay.
You lose me when you start talking about other sports.
Look at the numbers, I guess. I don't know. Like, I made an analogy off a stat based on racing. All right. We'll do picks to win, then we're gonna talk dirt for a sec. Because I've got Newgarden. I think I'm just a Joseph Newgarden fan at this point.
I hate, like, I mean, I am, but like I try to be unbiased, but it's literally like if someone had a gun to my head and they were like, pick the guy who's gonna win the race this weekend, like,
yeah, in every hypothetical in IndyCar is, would you push this guy off a cliff or this guy? Because all of them like each other, and I like all of them. Like the closest thing I have to hating someone is Devlin DeFrancesco, and I don't hate him at all.
Are you sure about that?
I would love to talk to him about almost running me over with a moped because there's no shot he remembers that.
Did he at least say sorry? I never asked that.
I think we both said "ope." I don't know if he said "ope" or not. That would be Midwest, and that would be like.
I was gonna say.
I'd be a confirmed Devlin fan after that. He might have said something else. I don't know.
What's Caleb's pick? Are you going with Newgarden too?
You know what? We'll give it to a Ward. I'll take a Ward.
I'm not going Pato. His fans always remind you that they're there.
Hey.
It's like golf fans being like, the Daytona 500? Dude, they're golfing at Pebble Beach today.
I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens, I guess.
I'm sorry for coming after golf fans. I could not think of any others. I was gonna trash hockey fans, but I couldn't do that today.
I'm trying to be different.
I was just gonna say, if you go in Newgarden, I was definitely gonna be different. I'm gonna take Rossi. I was balancing between Herta and Rossi. I think I'm gonna take Rossi. I have a gut feeling.
It'd be really cool if Rossi got a win this weekend, or any time at all. Really,
I especially like him now that he's with McLaren. But
how many races we got until the Indy 500?
2.
Yeah, they got Indy Road Course and one other one.
So that means 3 before then?
Yeah, if you're counting Long Beach.
Okay. It's Long Beach on Sunday. Oh, and then Barber Motorsports Park at the end of April when we start the month.
Yes. Correct.
So that'll be cool. I'm excited for it. Gonna have to 2 TVs or something. Oh shit! Monster Jam is this weekend.
I gotta go buy a 3rd TV.
No, I have to go to it. I have a 24-year streak of attending.
Oh, that's right.
Monster Jam Des Moines. My dad.
What day is it? What day does it fall on?
There's like Saturday afternoon at like 1, Saturday night during Knoxville's weekly show, and then Sunday at like 1 o'clock again. They used to do 11 a.m.s, and now they don't. I'm really pissed now. This sucks.
Gosh, how are you gonna manage?
I don't know.
You're bringing your iPod and your iPhone in. You're gonna connect your data to your iPod, and then you're gonna watch.
The joke I was making was of the crap technology from 2006, because we've done this 2 podcasts in a row now. I don't know if you guys listened to my thing with Damon. I was hating on Apple.
Why?
I hate Apple.
Do you have one?
No, I have an
Oh my
Android,
God.
and Apple people get pissed at me because their text messages from me change colors.
And we just
that's-
lost half our viewers.
That's apparently like a huge damn offensive deal to them.
It's annoying.
It is super
And
annoying.
it's because Apple
I'm
purposely
sorry you have
designed-
to send your group text messages.
Purposely designed their SMS system to do that, to single out the other company.
Listen, we know we're the
That's
problem, but
insane.
we know we're the problem, but we're still better than you. So that's all that matters.
I guess pay more for your shit. That's fine. It's just a
I
weird
will.
flex.
I will, and I'll
it's
pay for a
like-
better product.
It's like I went to Abelardo's and paid $9 for 3 orders of nachos and 7 quesadillas. And you went to the gourmet Mexican restaurant across the street owned by Steve Jobs and paid $41.99 for a taco and a Busch Light. Good. It's cool. That's great. Yeah. Hate Apple. Stupid. Has been an all-time dumb topics show.
Make sure we add it to the bingo card.
Yeah, you want to talk some dirt?
Go for it.
And I'm relating it to you guys. I have to in some way incorporate you two, because Damon's not here to lift the weight there. I almost told you to watch the highlights, but I forgot to. So if you want to take 5 minutes and watch them, you can.
Are we talking about Kyle Larson's deal?
Yeah, the high limit sprint car series from.
I saw Rico Eber's incident.
Yeah, he got a flat tire. Chase Randall went off pace, and I think Rico bumped him. So he was in the lead. Really dominant run for him, and then he fell back with the flat tire thing. He had to go to the work area. And then same thing happened to Austin McCarl late in the race, but we'll talk about a couple of those things. Caleb, do you want me to pause it while you watch that? You can watch it with sound.
I'd say just go for it. I mean, I know a little bit here and there.
Okay, I'll intro the topics and stuff. So Rico was dominating. Tyler Courtney was dominant most of the night. But ultimately, Rico had the longest, I guess, run up front in his flat tire. Bad luck for him. We talked about Austin McCarr a little bit. The thing was the results of the race. Carson Macedo went 22nd to second place, P2, and Kyle Larson went from 18th to P5. Why that's big? Both of them had some help because they used a choose cone. They have not used the choose cone in the World of Outlaws. They don't use it in the All-Star Circuit of Champions. It has been somewhat not introduced at all in sprint car racing. We got a comment on our Facebook. Someone said they absolutely hate it. 3 comments liked my comment that said, I loved it. Don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't know, if you comment just one sentence with no reasoning, like I don't know why the hell you hate it. I love it. I think it's great. My only complaint is it's not a choose drone.
Oh dear God, I'm surprised to learn that they haven't been using that there. I thought that was always the.
No, not late model racing doesn't do it either for dirt. I think asphalt late model racing does. I think that's where it originated because Matt Weaver was the one who taught me about this 7-8 years ago, and I think the whole rule should be named after him.
Oh boy.
I'm legitimate on that. Like I sincerely think Matt Weaver should have that rule named after him.
I guess I can't confirm or deny. Like I have no idea on that.
He's the only guy that ever talked to me about it. I've never had anyone approach me about the choose cone rule.
I mean, I've just always grown up with it being at various tracks, so I guess I don't know. I've always just thought it was.
If you guys don't know about it, they used it. They're using it in NASCAR now, so I would assume you've seen it in one way or another. But the drivers line up in a single file line. They can choose inside or outside. If the first three guys running in the field choose the inside, the guy in fourth place can then choose the outside and line up on the front row. So you can use it to advance your position if you know what you're doing. If your strategist is worth a damn, in any faction of things. But they used it last night, and it was probably the first 410 race I've ever seen it used in. I like it. I don't have any gripes with it. I think it should be used. You leave it up to the drivers to determine their fate, basically. And, you have guys taking risks based on who's around them, based on their driving style and what they think of themselves starting on the inside or outside. Like I think there's just a lot of assets to it that kind of bring out characteristics in guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, it gives the ball in your court a little bit more than, just if especially and that's my thing too is like I would have thought more on dirt racing because in asphalt there's pretty much at most tracks there's one line that's the fastest. So like so at Hawkeye Downs, for example, like the slow way around the track is going to be up top more, unless you've got somebody in front of you that is slower. Whereas in dirt, you've got people that will be your bottom feeders. You've got people that will rip the top. So, it gives you more of an option to, you might say like, okay, I was going to start, if we do it traditional, I would have started on the bottom, but like I want to go up top and I want to get that momentum up there, so it gives you that option. And I don't know why people wouldn't like that.
We
I
got
guess.
we got to get you watching a dirt race because, like at Knoxville, there's two lines. It's the bottom and the top, and you can get a middle line to come in when the track's really good. And a lot of tracks are kind of like that, but if you slide, you can slide from bottom to top, commonly referred to on NASCAR broadcasts as a slide job. You can slide that, and like there's different ways to approach a corner, different ways to pivot off the cushion. Sometimes you've seen at Huset's, the cushion will fall off, or sometimes when you got a little guy in the seat like Ryan Timms, he can get a lot of load off that car, off that cushion, because he doesn't have as much weight in that part of the car. So there's just so many like levels to it that there's not two lines. It doesn't necessarily matter.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
No, but that's the reasoning it hasn't been in sprint car racing.
Yeah.
I don't hate it being there because at some tracks there is a line you want to start in. And it's a lot harder with less momentum to go around the top. But
Right.
I think they get enough of a restart at the same time going from the outside, especially if you're the jump car, if you're the lead car that signifies the restart. So I just thought it was interesting. I liked it. Yeah, and like I said, the choose drone, I'm in love with the choose drone. So so after Rico's flat, Gio Scelzi assumed the lead on the restart. He came around. His car was a rocket ship off the restarts. He's very good, very strong. No one had anything for him. Austin McCarl had a little bit for him, slid him a couple of times. And he mentioned Austin, and both these guys you've seen at Knoxville a ton. And he mentioned that they raced really clean without touching each other for 2 or 3 laps, and it was fantastic racing for that position. And he kind of made an example out of it. He's like, you can race guys like that without touching them. Like, that's just hard racing. There's nothing dirty about it. He knew it was coming. He knew what Austin was going to try to do. And that night, Rico prevailed. The thing is, Austin should have had a pretty good finishing position. And then the caution came out for a loose cone in turn 4, probably with Gio about maybe 3/5 of the front stretch, or 3/5 of the front stretch away from the finish line. So cut it in half, and like Gio was basically done with the race. The race should have been over, and they called a debris caution on the final lap and had him do a 2-lap shootout. And why I mention this is because a lot of dirt fans are very quick to do the NASCAR has debris cautions, boring, wah, cry. The flagman at Lakeside, that might have been the dumbest call I've ever seen. Not ever, but I just want to say stupid call. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
It happens everywhere.
I'm not a fan of the call. Let me bring it over, because the whole thing is to say that there can be bad calls everywhere at bad times. That one did not determine the race winner, thankfully. It did determine how much money Austin McCarl took home, by about $8,000 at the very least. So that's a little bit of bullshit from the Iowa guys. But yeah, don't spare me the late race debris caution jokes. And also spare me the World of Outlaws screws over drivers every week, because whether that's Lakeside's guy or High Limit's guy, you can absolutely say they screwed over Austin McCarl. That's what I'm trying to say here is stuff happens.
Yep.
You can be mad about that incident. You can be mad at that person. Don't give me the organizational bullshit. Don't give me the dirt racing versus NASCAR bullshit. What I was trying to, stuff happens. I wanted to mention that, quote unquote, what they said, specifically their words, debris caution.
We've seen things like that from local dirt tracks.
I love how you're doing the air quotes now. It's like that episode of Friends.
Yes. But we've seen it at local dirt tracks all the way up to F1. I mean, it's everywhere.
No, say to. I'm gonna need you to edit that one.
No, we see it
all
everywhere.
The way up to F1, as if F1 has like one lousy debris caution a season.
Yes,
they get them under caution, Caleb. There's like 3-4 races a year where they're wrecking at 40 miles per hour, but it's in kilometers, so they're going 100.
Oh boy, no, but my point stands. It happens all over the world.
Oh man, this has been great. Gio ends up getting the best win of his career. I should say richest, $50,000 to him. He was psyched about it. He asked where the nearest casino was so he could go spend it right after the race. He's a World of Outlaws regular, winning the first high limit race. I thought it was interesting in the grand scheme of things. Does it matter a lot right now? Absolutely not. Could it? Yeah. At some point it can. But there's really there's no telling if that's going to matter down the road, if it matters now. I just thought it was interesting an Outlaws guy won it. And I'm not doing the series thing. We got a ton of friends in the high limit series that I love. And if you don't like Kyle Larson or Brad Sweet, I don't know why you wouldn't like either of those guys, but they're.
I already liked him to begin with, but now that he made the comment about going to the nearest casino, I like him even more.
He wanted to spend it. I legitimately think if there was one, there might be one close to Lakeside. I can't remember when I went there, but track was in great condition. All that.
I mean, it's in Kansas, so probably.
Yeah. The only other thing was we had a scare in qualifying with Jake Newman. I want to give the latest update as the time we're recording this to Jake before I get into what I wanted to talk about it. So his family says quick but very encouraging update on Jake. PT came in and got him up, and he walked for a little while. He sat up for a while and is back in bed now. We've been told he has a misplaced rib as well, but it doesn't appear to be a major concern. Thank you all so much for your kind words, prayers, and support, end quote. So yeah, scary incident with Jake Newman. His car broke, sent him in the fence, whipped the back end of his car into the dirt, halted qualifying for about 40 minutes. And obviously just days after Justin Owen passed away on Saturday with USAC. You hate seeing scary incidents like this. You absolutely hate it, but Jake was responsive the whole time, able to move his extremities the whole time, and talking with track crew as they helped him with that. I know they had called a helicopter, but they had called the helicopter off and were able to ambulance him to the nearest hospital, I believe. So it's great to see that Jake's okay, and that's the best news in any case. What I want to talk about is how the racing community and how the sports community responds to times like this when something happens that we weren't expecting, haven't seen before, in a negative light of you're questioning whether the athlete you're watching and taking up your night to watch is okay, because you want him to be okay. I am fucking sick and tired of commenters hammering broadcasts when guys wreck. When DeMar Hamlin went down on the field in the NFL early in the season, every comment was critiquing the broadcast. Well, they can't let them sit there and talk. Well, why aren't they saying more things? When's the next update going to come? Dude, no one fucking knows. Holy cow. It is insane. Like, how bad people are with this.
Yeah, so many people are just so insensitive to what's going on, and it's not like you can't train for something like that because
they think you can. No, they think you can. They absolutely think you can. Can you train for it when it's a guy you know? When you're in the booth, like especially in racing, like when you're in the booth, if your best friend wrecked, are you going to go on the broadcast and just sit there and talk about the potential top threats for the pole in qualifying session B?
I can attest to the fact too that like when I worked at Hawkeye Downs, first off, I don't like seeing it no matter how much I know or don't know the driver.
Right,
like,
obviously.
But working there, and when a serious accident would happen, it didn't matter whether I was like real good friends with them or not. You care about those people, and when you watch something like that, it's just not a fun experience at all. So it's hard for them to watch that, and you can't train for that. Every situation is different. Everything is such a fluid deal on that there's no protocol for how that goes down.
No, and Shane Stewart is promoting the race along with Kyle and Brad. It's their first race as a series. Yeah, they ran an exhibition race last year. They tried to run a second one. It got rained out. It's basically the first time this whole staff has been together working on something. They have enough problems. They have plenty. There is so many things that they want to do better. I can promise you that. Walkopedia, Brian Walker, if you know him, he tweeted, "Okay night at Lakeside." No, Walker, as always, you hit it out of the park. So don't worry about it. It's a new damn series, and we're critiquing how they broadcast a racer being hurt. I'm freaking tired of it, man. It is like I was at the Chili Bowl for Ashton Torgerson. I can't even think right now. I was there for his accident. It's the worst damn thing. It is, bar none. There is nothing worse than that. And it's like no one wants that. So quit going after Flow Racing because you're a World of Outlaws fan or whatever. I don't even think I'm making up hypotheticals. So don't take any of the words seriously. But like, stop going after these broadcasting companies because someone got hurt. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. Someone got hurt and you're like, I'm going to be angry at Flow Racing for not saying anything. They didn't have an update either. And people are messaging his girlfriend like, is he okay? Is he okay? Like, yeah, she's going to be getting 700 text messages. I hope you know that. So before you send that one, maybe hold off a bit and just wait for the update from the Flow broadcast because that's the first place you're going to get it. We'll put something out when we hear it. I'm not going to put something out that I get a text from a random number. I'm not going to put something out from someone I don't know, someone that's not affiliated with the family or at least with the series. It's stupid.
Right.
It's so, that whole thing ticked me off last night. And I'm glad Jake's okay. Jake's doing good. Sounds like the injuries were somewhat limited to the concern of everyone. Obviously, a broadcast going silent for 30 minutes doesn't always seem like something good, but it's also it's just a sign that they haven't had an update. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you could, it'd be nice if they could say like, "Hey, we don't have an update," because when you
they did.
kind of
They did a couple times.
did they?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
put a
that's
red flag for this, and it's just if you weren't sitting there for the 30 minutes with the broadcast on and the volume on, you weren't hearing that. So
right. Yeah, that's the only thing, because completely not telling anybody anything at all, then that leads to
and it was not a black screen. It said red flag. It was just the camera position next to the start finish line. It wasn't, it wasn't like a completely go dark type of a deal. And I remember when the DeMar Hamlin thing happened with the Bills, and everyone was pissed that they had people on the screen talking.
right.
So I just like the people that fire off takes when stuff like this happens to like take a step back and realize that no one knows how to react to this. Because it's a rare event, thankfully. These sports continue to get safer. And obviously that's on different levels for different things. But if it's an event that's that rare that you don't exactly know what to think, then don't expect everyone else to know how to think. Because it is not a broadcaster or a journalist's job to know exactly what to do when an athlete gets hurt.
Right.
You can take a crisis management class and PR class. That's fine. There's about 2 days. I took one. There's about 2 days where they cover deaths. And all they say is wait for an update. You're not going to sit there and stall and power rank the drivers in the field. You're not going to sit there and stall and power rank the qualifying Session B drivers that you think could surprise people or where the sun might set depending on how quick this ambulance gets here. It would be really stupid to do any of those things. They're not going to do it. I think I've said more than enough of my piece.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair observation.
I did want to preview the weekend schedule.
Do it.
I hate rants like that because I'm ranting to not you guys. Like, I don't expect you guys to fire back and debate me. And
Why? Yeah, and it's hard too because it's
there's
I don't have any,
there's not like another side of that you can be on.
yeah, like I'm not gonna. No, I think they should give everybody's business and make assumptions. Yeah, no, like.
So the rest of the weekend, Friday night, XR Super Series has a big Spring Thaw 100. I think they're giving out $100,000 to the winner of that for the late model race at Bulls Gap. It's a 2-night show. That's on Race XR Plus. The World of Outlaws are down at Peevely with the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series. So that will be something to watch. There's the NASCAR Truck Series at Martinsville. There is the 2-night show out in California for the NARC King of the West Series. It's the Dennis Roth Classic down at Tulare. That's going to be a big event. I'm excited to see who wins that. I think they've only raced one time this year. And our guys Dominic Selzy and Shane Golobic are both going to be in action. Obviously, you're about to hear it. The Karl Chevrolet Dirt Truck season opener. They opened the season at Marshalltown on Friday night. Saturday night, or I guess Saturday afternoon, Supercross goes to Atlanta Motor Speedway in a race I'm very excited for because it's dirt bikes on a NASCAR track. Caleb Chase Sexton, 25 points away. Still 25 out. Cooper Webb is 7 out. Tomac leads it. You got this bingo thing is the worst thing to happen to this podcast because you guys just I don't even know how Chase Sexton got on the bingo card, but I just led with his name because you guys brought it up. And then I said Chase Sexton again, and you both you didn't react to it. You stayed silent, and you went to write it down on your bingo card.
Because you unironically just think of that's just who you think of. You said his name more times than you think in previous podcasts.
Because the overwhelming storyline from the first 7 weeks of the season was this guy's been leading in 5 of the races, but he's wrecked out of 4.
I just would like to point out that he is not on my bingo card, and that is unfortunate.
Oh,
he is on mine.
Bad randomizer today, Caleb.
No, I got a bad randomizer because I'm not gonna say why, but he's not even here. So
I am missing 1, and I think Josh is as well.
I'm missing 1 in 3 different spots.
Oh, jeez. You guys are going to try to get me to say it now. No, but I'm excited for...
That's against
the rule. The rule is we can't force it. It needs to just happen.
Awesome. It's terrible. The only other races, all those were 2-night shows that I mentioned. Knoxville starts their season on Saturday night. We'll be down there. I'm very amped for it. You guys are about to hear the interview with Lou and Mason. We might be down there next week, next Wednesday at Stewart. But we'll talk about that later in other episodes. And then NASCAR and IndyCar doubleheader on Sunday. And I believe USAC is raced on Sunday too with the Silver Crown season opener. So we'll see how many full-time guys they got with Silver Crown. Could be interesting. Very pumped either way for IndyCar and NASCAR. I hope my 2 TV setup is. Maybe I'll go to my parents and laptop TV it. That might be the best option.
But
and Monster Jam.
Okay. What about your 24? Yeah, I was gonna say. What about your 24 year?
Yeah, I gotta call my dad after this to figure out which one we're going to. It's hopping ridiculous. So much racing this weekend, even in the state of Iowa. So much racing. So,
did you
guys
mention
have anything
Xfinity
else?
Series being on the schedule?
What's that?
Did you say Xfinity Series?
I did not mention the Xfinity Series. I thought it was
because you said trucks and then you immediately jumped to
the
girls group, and I was like, huh?
At 2 p.m. and that's okay. But yeah, the Xfinity Series is at Martinsville too. Sammy Smith's racing in that. Also Brett Moffitt. Best of luck to both those guys. You guys got anything else?
The Bulls won.
The Bulls won?
Yeah.
They won their season opener too. Look at that. Lakers, Bulls.
Look at that. Now they got to go play the Heat to get into the playoffs.
It is funny in the NBA how the play-in is the plan, and every other sport is no, it's the playoffs.
Yeah.
Baseball's wild card, you're in. NFL's you're in because only one team gets a bye.
Speaking of baseball, did the Orioles win?
That's a bad question.
They lost. Crap. They lost to the Athletics, so that's even worse.
It's April 12th, and the Cubs got their asses kicked today, and they're still 1 game above 500. How about that? How about that? No one thought that.
I would quote your tweet that you always say, but I have one in the room, and I don't need it to go off.
Alexa, play Go Cubs Go.
It's in my headset. You're not gonna hear it.
Why do you have it in your headset?
That's anti-religion to me to say.
Are you gonna? Did you just ask why I have sound going through my headset?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about your Alexa being in there.
You zoned off really cool.
I was like, why is your Alexa in your headset?
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to this. We still have this interview coming up. Very good one. You guys will like it. Lou sounds off at the end on the sponsors, and he mentions Quick Star's price of milk, and it made me laugh out loud. I had to mute my microphone. It was fantastic. Both these guys are great. Love both of them. So it's the Karl Chevrolet dirt truck preview with myself, Lou Seipel, and former ARCA Menard Series champion Mason Mitchell. Hope you guys enjoy. have a good weekend. Have a good race weekend. Go catch some racing in the state of Iowa this weekend. It is great weather. It's going to be awesome. Go have yourselves a fine couple of days. Appreciate you guys.